गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in verse number 3. Verse number 2. Still we haven't completed it, or we completed it last week. And the student there said, remember in the first verse, the teacher, where is the first verse? यदि मन्यसे सुवेदेति दहरमेवापि नूनं त्वं वेत्थ ब्रह्मणो रूपं यदस्य स्वं यदस्य देवेषु अथ नु मीमांसयमेव ते मन्ये विदितम्. I read it. I didn't say it in tune. So there the student was told by the teacher that if you think that I know it very well, then you don't know it, and only those, and also that even the gods are not able to know it, and then having said that to him, that the student then goes away and contemplates, because he was a Uttam Adhikari, and having contemplated, he comes back to the teacher and he says, Naham manye suvedeti, no na vedeti vedacha, yo nastadveda tadveda, no na vedeti vedacha. The teacher, because before in the there was one part where he said that if you know it, you don't know it, and if you don't know it, then you know it, something like that. And he quoted the scriptures, the Agama. And the student, now having contemplated on the words of the teacher, comes and narrates this to the teacher, and what was it? That, excuse me, what does he say? He says that I have understood, I don't say that, but I have not understood, I don't say that also. So both ways he's keeping his position. I have understood, I have not understood, I don't say that, and I have understood, that also is it's not like that. So the teacher here in the second verse again tries to poke the student, shake the student, to check, is he really established, or is he, हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, फेंक रहा है, is he throwing long ones? So the teacher tells the student, nanu viprati siddham naham manye suvedeti no na vedeti vedacha iti. यदि न मन्यसे सुवेदेति कथम मन्यसे वेद चेति. So there the student poked him and he said that you understand and yet you don't understand. Sometimes you say I have understood, but then you say that I have not understood. So you're taking both the stances of knowing and not knowing. And when someone speaks like this, my understanding is the teacher is saying that if a person knows something, uh, see how he's saying, if a person knows something, he knows it well. There is no question of not knowing it. If a person knows something, he knows it well, and and doesn't know, and such a person will not know Brahman with doubts, as you are saying that I know it and I don't know it also. See, keep applying it on yourself. If we are saying to ourselves, I know it, right now it will be an intellectual exercise. It has to be done. You have to be in that disposition. So, in this manner, if a person misunderstands and does not understand Brahman properly, then there will be only dukkham, there will be only misery. And the teacher, the student then said, where are we? Evam acharyena vichalyamanopi shishyo na vichachala. He did not get disturbed. Anyadeva tad viditat atha aviditat adhi. This is what the teacher had quoted from one of the scriptures, and there he said that what is that? That Anyadeva tad viditat atha aviditat adhi. That Brahman is other than known and other than and beyond the unknown. This is what the teacher had told, and therefore he had gone to contemplate again, because he said, I know it very well. And here so not getting disturbed yet responding to the teacher, excuse me, the student in this second verse does not repeat what the teacher told. Teacher told it is other than the known and other than the unknown and beyond the unknown. So he is not repeating the same words. Same words will be used when you are parroting. We are copying the teacher. Then what is he doing here? The student has come with his own direct experience, and therefore here what did he say? Iti आचार्योक्तागम संप्रदाय बलात् उपपत्त्यनुभव बलाच्च जगर्ज च ब्रह्म विद्यायां दृढ़ निश्चयतां दर्शयनात्मनः. When such poked, disturbed, shaken by the teacher, the student came back and roared in front of the teacher. Roared means it is not an argument. Roared is not because you are increasing your voice. You know, many people increase their volume, raise their volume to the higher pitch or volume just to make a point, even if they are wrong. Here the student is not doing to outdo the teacher. He is not trying to prove anything to him. But out of his own direct experience, whenever you are very happy, automatically you are, you share it. So here he is remaining established in the truth. He is roaring away his experience. And what is his experience? And how did he roar? he what he said. What did he say? This is where we were yesterday last time. Katham ityuchyate. What did he say? What did he roar? How did he roar? So here it says, यो यह कश्चिद न अस्माकं सब्रह्मचारिणां मध्ये तन्मदुक्तं वचनं तत्वतो वेद स तद्ब्रह्म वेद. And he started saying that among all the brahmacharis gathered here, brahmacharis or among all the students are here, all those who know what I have just said. What did he say? नाहं मन्ये सुवेदेति नो न वेदेति वेद च यो नस्तद्वेद वेद तद्वेद नो न वेदेति वेद च. So he says, whatever I have said, the one among us who knows the essence of what I have said knows. He didn't say what he knows or what he doesn't know. He said the one who knows the essence of what I have said. Because a one who has come to know himself, he doesn't have to prove anything to anyone, including to his teacher. He doesn't need to prove. There is no feeling that the teacher is high and I am low. The distance is maintained, the respect is maintained, the gratitude is maintained, but tattvataha, the student who can make this statement as in the second verse, knows the essence in the Guru and essence in all is the same as the essence of his. There's no two essences. And therefore the roar. And therefore he says, yeah, that no na vedeti veda cha iti. The one among us students, he who has understood what I have said in essence, that is that which is other than the contradiction, because contradiction is in the words. The essence, there is no contradiction. Then again it is said, Kim punaha tad vachanam ityata aha no na vedeti vedacha iti यदेव अन्यदेव तद्विदितात् अथ अविदितादधि इत्युक्तं तदेव वस्तु अनुमान अनुभवाभ्यां संयोज्य निश्चितं वाक्यंतरेण नो न वेदेति वेद च इत्योवचत आचार्य बुद्धि संवादार्थं मंद बुद्धि ग्रहण व्यपोहार्थं च तथा च गर्जितं उपपन्नं भवति यो नस्तद्वेद तद्वेद iti. So Kim Puna, again what did you say? The student says no na vedeti veda cha. He says this again. Why? We are on page number 66 if you have lost where we are. Page 66, second paragraph. किम पुनः तद्वचनम मित्यत आह नो न वेदेति वेद च. So he repeats the same instruction again, his conclusion or his direct experience again, and says that this is other than the known and unknown. And because the teacher had, so as I said to you before, that the teacher had told him that the truth is other than the known and the unknown, and the same thing he is telling here, that I know and yet I don't know it, meaning truth cannot be known objectively, and yet there was never a time that I don't know the truth. Truth cannot be known objectively, like I know you, I can see you, I can hear you, I can only these two, because others are missing in the computer. I can see you and hear you. But that is objectification. And if you are not there, I think and I imagine you. You are in my mind. Still, it is an objective experience of you. So, two aspects. Our predisposition in our daily living as an individual is objective experiences of life. So here the student is reiterating, I know, yet I don't know it, meaning truth cannot be known objectively, but that does not mean that I don't know it. So as the teacher had said, Anya deva tad vidita tadha avidita dadhi, it was the Shruti Vakya, means it was from the Upanishad. The student did not repeat the words of the teacher. Instead, he rephrased them into the words coming, sprouting from his heart as a result of the direct experience. No plagiarism, no copy paste. And in this manner, the student he repeats his statement when they said, Kim punaha, what did you mean? Tell us again. Again he says it and reasserts what he has understood. Continuing. Then it says, Sanyojya यस तदेव वस्तु अनुमान अनुभवाभ्याम संयोज्य निश्चितं वाक्यांतरेण नो न वेदेति वेद च इत्योवचत आचार्य बुद्धि संवादार्थम मंद बुद्धि ग्रहण व्यपोहार्थम च. So he says he has told it out of his own understanding and experience, though both. One is direct experience and the other is inference, because when it comes to words, something has to be said, and words cannot, remember, yato vacho nivartante. Words cannot illuminate the truth. So he has to take the support of some inference, some example or whatever. And here he has taken the support of the words, and therefore he is presenting his case, he is presenting his direct experience in front of his teacher. Nishchitam vakyantarena no na vedeti vedacha ityovachata acharya buddhi samvadartha. So this he presented in front of his teacher, and naturally the teacher is well established, he understands, he is and how did he present it in front of the teacher? Nona vedeti vedacha. He presented it in a samyak prakar. Samyak prakar means equanimously, not out of excitement, not out of arrogance, not out of sheepishness. No, with equanimity he presented to his teacher. This we have to understand. And for those people who are manda buddhi, here it says what? Manda buddhi grahana vyapohartam cha. And those who are dull-witted, who are trying to conceptualize the truth, who are dull-witted, who want to understand the truth, who are dull-witted, who feel that they will come to know the truth objectively. See, those who do not know, who are absolutely buddhu, there is no need to tell them anything, because they don't know it, they are not seeking also in the first place. Those who know it, to them also he doesn't need to say anything. Then why did he repeat it two times? He repeated it two times for the benefit of those who are hanging in between. Those who think they know it but actually don't know it. Manda buddhi. And therefore, there. Therefore, these people who are such people, what is their characteristic? Who are mandabuddhi? They question a lot without reflection, without contemplation, without deeply getting involved. It is only questions are only at the surface level. And he has made this statement. Naturally, all the other students are going to come back at him, and therefore to satisfy their minds, put them in into a situation from where they don't know what hit them. He's not doing it purposely, but here it says that he presented the contradictory statements to them and said that the one who knows the essence of what I have said. So automatically the one who has known will keep quiet. And what is the usually what happens in the among the students? Everyone makes believe that they know. He doesn't want to get into an argument. So those who do not know, they will keep quiet also. So there will be no discussion, no argument. And therefore he says, among us, he who knows the essence of this contradiction. The truth is that whether you know or you don't know, it is ever present. It is the common denominator. He who knows that truly knows. This he roared in front of the teacher and the students. तथा च गर्जितम् उपपन्नं भवति यो नस्तद्वेद तद्वेद iti. This is what I just told you. Now we move into the next verse, the third verse. The third verse, the Sambandha Bhashya says that this, what is it? Shishya Acharya Sambhadat Pratinivrutya Swena Rupena Shrutihi Samasta Sambhada Nivrittamarthameva Bodhayati Yasyamatam Ityadinam. Now, after the student roared and told his direct experience, the Shruti Mata, that means the Veda, the Upanishad, meaning here the Kena Upanishad, because Upanishad is taken as Mother Shruti, Shruti Mata. So what are they saying? That the Shruti Mata is keeping the dialogue between the teacher and the student to one side now. Now the Shruti Mata is going to delve into the direct experience of that student. What does it mean that he knows and yet he doesn't know? So, the one who knows is ignorant, and the one who is ignorant, he knows. This contradiction is going to be looked into, delved into, explored by the Shruti Mata. And through the Shruti Mata, Adi Shankaracharya Maharaj, he is going to give a detailed commentary on this, so that no ambiguity is there in our mind. Our mind must be clear because thinking is happening in the mind, but the essence remains independent of the thinking. So while thinking is taking place, while hearing Shravanam is going on, as through these words, contemplation, you are listening to the live contemplation that we are doing here, taking the support of Adi Shankaracharya's words. While listening itself, you have to come to the essence because you are always that essence. While contemplating, while indulging in these thoughts, we have to be that common denominator. We have to be that constant principle in whose presence all knowledge is coming and going. That will be the attempt of our Shruti Mata now. So what does it say? It says in the third verse, Yasya matam tasya matam, Yasya matam tasya matam, matam yasya na vedasaha, matam yasya na vedasaha, avijñātam vijānatam, avijñātam vijānatam, vijñātam avijānatam, avijñātam avijānatam. Together, Yasya matam tasya matam, matam yasya na vedasaha, avijñātam vijānatam, vijñātam avijānatam. What is this reality? Reality, this Brahman, this reality. क्या हो गया भाई? Can you hear me clearly, guys? Can you hear me?
The noise is cracking sometimes, Swamiji.
I just changed the internet connection. Now it is clear, right?
Yes.
Just tell me whenever it's cracking because just it catches the front house internet automatically. So I have to bring it back to unit to internet.
Sure.
So, the one who does not know Brahman, he knows Brahman. This is the first statement. And the one who knows Brahman, he does not know Brahman. See? Pay attention. The one who knows Brahman, the one who does not know Brahman, he knows. And the one who does not know, the one who knows, he does not know. People will say that this is just play of words, you are just putting us into confusion, that the one who knows, he does not know, and the one who doesn't know, knows. This is play of words. It is not play of words. Shruti doesn't play with words. Shruti Mata is very succinct, she is very clear, she is very straight. Without mincing any words, whether you accept or you don't accept, she doesn't care. She presents in front of you what is through the words, and that is her beauty. Now it is our attempt. We have to make ourselves capable, qualified, so that we can imbibe what she is telling as our own essential nature. She cannot make us do that. She can only present it. She can only lay the buffet in front of us. You have to get up, you have to pick up you have to digest, eat it, you have to digest it, you have to assimilate it. You have to nourish yourself. She can't do it for you. And why is it so? Because though those it is known that even if there are the people who say they know Brahman, if they are not there, still it is known. If there are no people to say that I know Brahman, and what was the previous statement? The one who says I know doesn't know. Right? So here in the second part it says avijñātam vijñānatam. Even if it is if it is meaning those who know are not there, still it will be known, and those who do not know, they are also, even if they don't know it, still they are ever the same reality. In other words, here he says that the way we are knowing everything, how do we know everything? Let's come back to this. We know everything through thoughts, isn't it? This computer, it seems to be outside, but it is a thought in my mind. An idea, an conviction, an imagination. I close my eyes, computer, some form of computer will come. Is it there in front of me? No, but it is there in my mind. So we know only one thing. What is that? When we say I know it, we know it objectively, because that is our habit. And if our focus, this is what it will come, I think this is how it goes, I don't know when we get into it, but what my thoughts are coming at this moment on this verse are that if we are focused on objective experience, then our attention is on the experience of the object. See, when you are singing bhajans, it gives you ecstasy. But why did that ecstasy come? Those words triggered the ecstasy. In listening to those words, what they meant, what they signify, what they stand for, that it is the Ram Naam, you felt in your mind, you imagined in your mind that you are one, you are merging into him, but it is still a mental journey. And in that mental journey, you go through this experience of ecstasy. What is this? Objective experience of bliss. And because it was objective in nature, it went away after some time. Isn't it? Does Brahman go away after some time? So now that I am knowing the computer, I am knowing the book, I am knowing this bhashya in front of me, while I am knowing this, if my attention is on the object, avijñānatam, then I don't know the Brahman, because I am so focused on it. But is it that I don't know Brahman? That I don't know reality? Without reality, can the objective knowledge even take place? Not possible. So when he says that those who know don't know, meaning such a person has fallen into the trap of the thoughts, the trap of the mind. And the one who is focused, having attention on the thoughts or on the mind, such a person cannot come to know Brahman. Such a person cannot come to know Brahman. Come to know Brahman because he is not available to himself. He is available to the objects. He is available to the thoughts. He is available to the concepts. He is available to the ideas. He is available to the convictions. And as long as his predisposition or disposition is towards all these, he is not available to that which is always. Now this is what I was saying. While we are talking, you can be that. So are we overly involved? What is the next word going to come? Or we are having a mental dialogue. It's too difficult to understand. Then purify. Then become focused. Don't eat food before coming to the satsang if you are feeling sleepy. If this Upanishad has to be heard, you need to quieten your mind. How do you quieten? Do japa. Do some chanting. Sit in meditation. And then come to this class. Then it will click. But you come and quickly you come, oh my God, I have not had my dinner yet, and if I finish the class and then I have my dinner, it will be 9:30, oh my God, let me quick, blah, 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 bhag ke aaye, bhag ke, you take a shower, in a rush, you eat your quickly, you put something into your stomach, and then you come to the satsang. You are already agitated. If that is not the case, oh man, this is really, because you have heard it somewhere. This is really very difficult to understand. I am not catching it. I am not getting it. And you have thought this thought again and again so many times within your mind that you start believing your own shortcomings. And who are you? In essence, who are you? With no shortcomings. You are the infinite. Purnamada Purnamidam. And you are believing that you are having shortcomings. That this is, and what is the shortcoming? This is difficult. This is too complicated. These words are playing with my mind. So take a chill pill, be cool, and remain with the thought. If not in this Upanishad, next Upanishad it will click. If not next Upanishad, in the next one it will click. Mother Shruti, you did not invite Mother Shruti into your life. You did not invite me into your life to speak about these Upanishads. This is the divine doing. None of you I knew. None of you knew that you were going to study Upanishads here. So it is sheer grace. And grace flows when you are ready for it. Now don't sabotage and stop the grace from flowing by continuing to insist that I don't understand, that it is difficult, that whatever your internal dialogue about with yourself. Here the dialogue is only one. These are the dialogues that should be going on in our mind. That if I say I know, then I don't know. Why I don't know? Because when I say I know, my attention is on an experience. I have understood it intellectually or experientially. Is Brahman an experience? No, it is not an experience. So this is the first part. Let's get into the what you call into the bhashya and explore what Shruti Mata is going to unfold with regards to the direct experience of the student. यस्य ब्रह्मविदः अमतम् अविज्ञातम् अविदितं ब्रह्मेति. If the belief, if the stance of the one who knows Brahman is such, and what is that? And what is that ब्रह्मेति मदम अभिप्रायः निश्चयः तस्य मतं ज्ञातं सम्यक् ब्रह्मेति अभिप्रायः. So here the teacher, the Shruti Mata is saying that such the Brahmaveta, the knower of Brahman, for whom the Brahman is unknown, he alone knows the Brahman very well. And here it continues to say what? Yasya punaha matam jnatam viditam maya brahmeti nishchayah न वेद एव सह न ब्रह्म विजानाति सह. And the person who thinks I have understood very well, he has not understood at all. Sab na brahma vijanati saha. Saha means he. Na vijanati does not know. What? Brahma. Then विद्वद् विदुषोर यथोक्तौ पक्षौ अवधारयति. The correct meaning, now we have to understand, because it sounds very confusing. Even when I am saying, sometimes I forget what instead of what I have to say, something else comes out. Sometimes it happens. So the correct meaning of this wise man whose stance on Brahman, who knows Brahman, and the otherwise, who is the otherwise? Vidushu, Vidvat and Vidushu. Who is the Vidushu? Vidushi is spoken about these is being spoken by the Shruti Mata. And what does she say? Where are we? Vidvat vidushor yathoktau pakshau avadharayati avijnatam vijanatam iti avijnatam amatam aviditam eva brahma vijanatam samyak viditavatam ityetata. So what is the avijnatam vijanatam iti? So what is he saying? He who has perfectly, directly, immediately known the Brahman, not once upon a time. I came to know Brahman on that particular day. You know, there are Mahatmas who are very, very popular. They give you the time of their realization. Date of realization. What bigger joke can it be? So he who has perfectly, directly, immediately parokshatvena come to know the Brahman, for him, for such a person, Brahman is unknown. now, now you'll say, मेरे को पागल बना देंगे आज 9 बजे के पहले. हाँ, अब ये सोचो, the wave has begun its journey to know the infinite waters. Once it knows that it is the infinite waters, once it knows that it is the infinite waters, when will it come to know it is infinite waters? Only when it has given up its waveness. True? Only when the wave has given up its waveness, in brackets individuality, it's melted away completely, it's absorbed into its source, meaning the wave has recognized. We are not talking about the wave has merged into the waters. No. While the wave is expressing, if the wave is dead, then there is no seeking. So wave is there. It is going on, it's on its journey. It is the expression of the wave is there on the waters. But it has to recognize that it is the infinite water, not the wave. As a result, what will happen? Why it is seeking? Why is it seeking the moksha called infinite waters? Because it wants to transcend death. It wants to transcend competition, comparison. It wants to transcend duality. So the wave contemplating on the Brahman gives up its individuality, the waveness, and realizes, Yahoo! Am Brahmasmi. It comes to the realization. This realization cannot be in the mind, because individuality, the waveness, is in the mind. So the mind has gone. The mind was searching for Brahman. Now the mind has lost, merged into the Brahman. You are seeking, after the class is over, you go to bed, you go to sleep. Who is seeking the sleep? The waker. Where is the waker? In the mind. He is a thought only. That waker has to die, has to vanish. For sleep to express. Isn't it? Similarly, the waveness, the individuality of the wave, which is only in the mind of the wave, that has to dissolve for the water to reveal itself. It is always water. But what is happening? Because of its obsession with its form, it had started believing that it is the wave. And what is the truth? The truth is it was always water. Before, during and after, it is always water. Now from water's point of view, is there anything called wave? No. From water's point of view, everything is water. Avijanatam. क्या word बोला? Avijnatam. So from Brahma, once you have come to know Brahman, from Brahman's point of view, there is no statement that I know Brahman, because mind is absent. Not necessary. If the mind is saying it, then you have come into the mind. Again you are back into the mind. Catch this part at this moment. Be alert towards that. Be attentive. Be aware that we are not giving you a concept. Shruti Mata is giving us the pathway to dissolve our obsession with thinking. And whatever we think is real. Whatever we experience in the mind is real. No. You are real by nature. Mind comes and goes. Mind is not real. How can you say that, sir? Why? Is this mind available in dream? It's a different mind. In the sense, having all different data to function with. And is this mind available in deep sleep? So what are you talking about? But you are always there. Whether there is waking, whether there is dream, whether there is deep sleep, whether there is samadhi, you don't become absent. Who is that? For that, to know that constant principle. So who are these Brahmaveta? Brahmaveta is the one who knows Brahman. How? Immediately, directly, without any doubt. And when he knows directly, will he go around saying, I know Brahman, I know Brahman, I know Brahman? Is it an object to know? He is. Do you keep going around and saying, I am the body, I am the body, I am the body? Forget I am the body. I am a woman. I am a woman. I am a woman. I am a woman. पागल खाने में बंद कर देंगे. So just as you do not go around with a placard or with a sign or with a name badge saying, I am the body, I am the woman. Then once you know that you are the essence, why would you say? And to whom? Because it's one without a second experience. It's an all inclusive experience. When I say inclusive, it's from Ishvara's point of view inclusive. From Vedanta point of view, it's one without a second. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. Then the one who knows Brahman is all that there is. Such is the vision of the great masters. Therefore they remain silent. Because they remain silent does not mean that they don't know. They know. They don't need to communicate it, that's all. Whom will they communicate? Whoever they communicate, it will be them only. I am communicating to myself. When we start talking to ourselves without any control, then we are called mad, isn't it? Then we are called schizophrenic. And therefore, here it is said that he who has immediately known the Brahman, for him Brahman is unknown. Brahman is a concept, is a name, is a word for that reality. Whether you call it Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, whether you call it reality, whether you call it Tattva, whether you call it Guru Tattva, whether you call it Ishvara, whether you call it Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swarup, whatever names you want to give it. Those names are given only to the seeker. This education is not being given to Brahman. And when the seeker comes to know his essential nature, then all these adjectives, all these names for that reality become null and void. Become null and void. And who is this Vidushi? Vidushi is that Vidushi means the intelligent, the one who has understood, those who are very intellectual. And what is that? They have taken those who have taken the conditionings to be the real, and through the and and for such people, for these vidushis, very learned people, vidushi, for such people Brahman can never be realized. Why? They are lost in knowledge, they are lost in intellectualization, they are lost in conceptualization, they are lost in, like us, finishing one text after another text. अभी क्या कर दिया? ओ 17 चैप्टर्स ऑफ भगवद गीता खत्म कर दिए, ईशावास्य उपनिषद खत्म कर दिया, अब केनो उपनिषद का पहला चैप्टर खत्म कर दिया, नाउ वी आर इन द सेकंड चैप्टर, इसको भी खत्म कर देंगे. अरे खत्म तो तुम्हें होना था, किताबें थोड़ा ना खत्म करनी थी. वी हैव टू बी फिनिश्ड, वी हैव टू डिसॉल्व, द सीकर हैज टू डिसॉल्व, नॉट द बुक्स. अविज्ञातम अमतम अविदितम एव ब्रह्म विजानताम सम्यक विदितवताम इत्येतत्. So those who understand the Brahman very well, for them Brahman is not available. They can never come to know it, because they have understood. And where have they understood? In their intellect. Meaning, they have understood it objectively. And those who are pursuing the reality objectively, for them Brahman is unavailable, even though it is plain, it is all that there is, but for them it is unavailable. In this manner, the Shruti Mata is clarifying the point made earlier by that student. Page 70. विज्ञातम विदितम ब्रह्म अविजानताम असम्यक दर्शिनाम इंद्रिय मनोबुद्धिष्वेवात्म दर्शिनात्मित्यर्थः. Correct? Meaning, here Vijnatam tad Tatparya meaning the moral of the point that is being made is that Indriya, Mana and Buddhi, those who take mind, intellect and the senses as I, understand this point. Atma Bhav. They feel mind is I, they feel the thoughts are I, the intellect is I, the concepts are mine, I have understood, and the senses as I. Whichever any of these three stations you are standing or sitting or looking at, for such people, Brahman is unavailable. Therefore, even though they know objectively, but they really don't know. Means Brahman is not available to them. Natu atyantameva avyutpanna buddhi nam nahi tesham vijnatam asmabhir brahmeti matir bhavati इंद्रिय मनोबुद्ध्य उपाधि बुद्धि उपाधिषु आत्मदर्शिनां तु ब्रह्म उपाधि पलम्भात. So what he says here, natu, but, tu means but not but, whatever. Natu atyantameva avyutpanna buddhina. So, but those who are established atyantameva utpanna buddhinam, those who are steeply established in ignorance, they don't have this problem of what? Of trying to work it out. I know or I don't know. Why? They are not even searching for Brahman. Those who are steeped in ignorance, उनके लिए क्या है? Every time the mirror comes in front of them, they are looking at their दाढ़ी, they are looking at their hair, कहीं पे काला स्पॉट तो नहीं आ गया, आज क्या करना है, चलो आज जाके पिज्ज़ा खा के आते हैं, कल के लिए क्या करना है, कल के लिए, whole day they are only thinking what to eat. ब्रेकफास्ट खत्म नहीं हुआ, व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू प्लान फॉर लंच, लंच खत्म नहीं हुआ, व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू प्लान फॉर डिनर, डिनर हैज नॉट इवन कम, वी डिडंट हैव एनी स्नैक बिटवीन लंच एंड डिनर, डिनर इज फिनिश्ड, अच्छा अभी चाय पियेंगे कि पान खाएंगे कि हल्दी वाला दूध पियेंगे. नाउ अ पर्सन हु इज सो ऑब्सेस्ड एट सेंसरी लेवल, will he ever think of Brahman? Will he ever think of moksha? Will he ever think of the reality that his essential nature is? Forget it. So we are not talking about these people. Then nahi tesham vijnatam, so on, and then he says those who are having this kind of knowledge, that is, they consider themselves to be mana buddhi and indriya, and they have the abhiman. Remember previously we saw vijnatam viditam brahma avijnatam, their indriya mano buddhi buddhishu eva atma adarshinam iti arthaha. So they have the arrogance, they consider mind I am, buddhi am I, in senses I am. This is how we see, no? My eyes are not clear, my throat is not good, my mind, I am becoming forgetful, I think I got dementia. I. Why? Because such people have considered mana buddhi indriyas to be the I. Their Atma Bhav is not in Aham Brahmasmi. Their Atma Bhav is Aham Buddhi, Aham Manaha, Aham Indriyaha. So while Shruti Mata is making this point, अपने आप को टटोलो, look at yourself. Do you consider yourself this way? That I am the senses, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the... Oh, doesn't the scripture say the sum total of all the convictions is what an individual is? That is his swabhav? Yes, absolutely the scripture says that. Gita says that, Upanishad say that. But swabhav is of the individual. We are talking about Brahman. Individual is an imagination. Just like wife is an imagination, husband is an imagination, mother is an imagination, there is only woman. The mother, daughter, sister, wife, all these are imaginary hats that woman is wearing, and so also the man. What is original? Woman. Woman has got no problem. Mother has a problem with the kids. Whether she is hurt by them or she is attached to them, whichever way you put it, the mother is in pain, the wife is in trouble because of the husband. But who are these people who are in trouble? Imaginations, just an imaginary role which the woman has accepted. For accepting that role, she had to forget she is a woman. Every now and then she remembers, but it's very minuscule. Most of the time, whatever she has become convinced of, that I am a wife. Now, whole life she is thinking only as a wife. She forgets that she is a woman. Then, if the husband is there, or the parents are there, or the children are there, if they go away, then pain, suffering, depression, suicide, then sleeping pills. Why? For who? For that imaginary wife or that imaginary husband. So if we have to be smart about it, and if you are all listening to this satsang, means you are smart. That means you are seekers. That's why you are listening for so many months now, years. So something, the grace is there, something is there within you, which is making you come to this Shruti Mata, to come to this Upanishads, to come to this Bhagavad Gita, to come to Amrit Anubhav. Something is there. That unseen grace, grace of the hand of God, Lord, divine. It's bestowing its grace. But now, with that grace flowing, are we becoming available? So, those who have taken themselves, their identity is, I am a thinking person, I am an emotional person, I am a sensory person. This you have to assess. We cannot do it for you. For such people, forget it. For them, there is no. They have the arrogance of saying, I am the body, I am the senses, I am the mind, I am the intellect. And for such people, those who are absolutely wise, for them there is no Brahman, because they don't have to talk about it, they are already it. And those who are absolute fools, for them also there is no Brahman, because they are unaware that that there is a greater happiness available, and that availability is their own essence. They are not available to themselves. So both absolute wise and absolute fools, for both we are not talking about them. Then whom are we talking about? We are talking about the ones who are hanging in between. Those who are not absolute fools and neither absolute wise. Them we are talking about. And that is where we all fall into. That is where we fall into. And who are we? we have all the knowledge. Who are these in between? Trishanku. We have all the knowledge. We give lecture every day. We listen to lecture every day. But we do not implement it any time. We are those. These Trishankus are those who know everything. When the sentence is about to be said, it's going to be completed. The mind completes it. They know the answer. Like those small kids, they learn Bhagavad Gita. Oh, Bhagavad Gita. Parents say, we never even knew how to chant Bhagavad Gita, but our children, they are chanting Bhagavad Gita. They know chapter 2, chapter 15, chapter 18. Arey wah, kya baat hai. But what? The knowledge of chapter 2? Ask that child after the complete chanting. Tell one meaning. What did you learn out of chapter 2? Oh, it is very long. Knowledge was not gained. So we have to, this knowledge, what we are getting exposed to right now, needs to be applied on ourselves. Oh, excuse me, I don't know why. Needs to be applied here and now. Because this contemplation that is going on right now, life, you can never recreate it. It's difficult. You can, if you have disciplined yourself, you can. But if you are for 1.5 hours sitting in one place, continuously listening, continuously the contemplation is taking you to that one truth. Are we able to do it independently? If you are, fantastic. Please leave. But if not, then for this 1.5 hour, be in poise. Sit still. Remain attentive to that unchanging principle, that unchanging consciousness. Discriminate. That all these words are coming to me, and the words are coming, words are going. Mind is listening, and then the word goes away, then there is no listening going on. Thoughts are coming, thoughts are going. But I am not coming and going. I am the constant one. I am the permanent one. Be that and allow the thoughts to come and go. Doesn't matter. But don't forget who you are. And this faculty that is required here is the faculty of discrimination. Discrimination, what is Vivek? Vivek is discrimination between the real and the unreal, the changing and the unchanging and the changing, the infinite and the finite, permanent and the impermanent. Who are you? Who are you? The permanent or the impermanent? I am the permanent one. Good. Then who are the impermanent ones? Wife comes and goes, mother comes and goes, sister comes and goes, daughter comes and goes. They are the impermanent one. Then drop all energy. Stop deeply thinking about all those roles. Or even while those roles are happening, let them happen, but you de-link from them. Just like you have de-linked from your childhood, you have de-linked from yesterday. You are not thinking about yesterday. You are not thinking about when you were 16 years old or 20 years old or 25 years old. You don't even know what happened on that particular day. You can't even recreate or recount the experiences of that particular year. It's out of your mind. If you see some photographs, then again memory will come. But otherwise it's gone and dusted. Over. Exactly is the same situation with all these virtual roles. The collection of these all virtual roles is the Jiva, who is himself a ghost. This ghost has become a little bit intelligent, and therefore he says, now I am a seeker. But as a seeker, he needs to dissolve. And dissolving means giving up all the roles. We are not saying stop functioning We are not saying stop the roles from functioning. Let the roles function, but you don't become the wife, don't become the mother, don't become the daughter, don't become the employee, don't become the seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, thinker, taster, convincer, experiencer, knower. Don't become anyone. And that is only possible when you are at one with yourself, in spite of everything going on. This is equanimity. This is samyak darshana. This is samatvam yoga uchyate. Such people take the upadhi, the limitations, the conditionings to be the reality. So when you have taken the body, breath, mind, intellect to be the reality, then when you have taken that as reality, how can you search for reality? It's just you know, a game you are playing with yourself. Then nothing is going to happen until unless you don't drop the ownership of body, breath, mind, intellect. Continuing. बुद्ध्यादि उपाधेश्च विज्ञातत्वाद् विदितं ब्रह्मेत्युपपद्यते भ्रान्तिरिति अतो असम्यक् दर्शनं पूर्वपक्षत्वेनोपन्यस्यते विज्ञातम् अविजानतामिति. Here he says that therefore the one vijñatatvat viditam brahmeti upapadyate bhrantirityato asamyak darshanam purvapakshatvena upanyasate Vijnatam avijanatam iti. The one who says, or the one who knows Brahman, the one who has understood the reality. Understanding is taking place where? Understanding is taking place at the equipment level, isn't it? At the mind level. So if you are allowing the words to come to you, but your attention is on the essence, and the one who has truly understood the Brahman can never come to know Brahman. अरे तेरे की, हम तो मोक्ष के पीछे पड़े हुए हैं पूरी लाइफ. आई वॉन्ट लिबरेशन, आई वॉन्ट लिबरेशन. देयर इज नो लिबरेशन. देयर इज नो लिबरेशन. देन व्हाई दे से देयर इज लिबरेशन? So that you come to this point to understand that there is no liberation. What if I took this point, maybe, I don't know, that if in the end I have to come to know that there is no liberation, there is no moksha, there is no Brahman, then I will now itself I will start from that point. Then you will never come to know it. Then you can never come to be it. So those people who argue in this manner, we are not talking about those people. So here he says, those who have truly understood Brahman they can never come to know Brahman. They can never come to experience the reality. I am knowing you as separate from me. Can I come to know Brahman, the reality, like I am knowing you? Can the wave ever come to know the water as separate from itself? Can the wave come to know the water, which is its essence, as separate from itself? Same is our situation. So, yes, we are seeking, but when the seeker comes to this climax, when his mind is absolutely quiet, when our vision tries to look at itself, all colors and forms vanish. When the mind tries to think about itself, not thoughts, thinks about itself, what is this space in which all the thoughts are coming? That is mind. What is that space in which all the thoughts are coming and going? All the moment mind thinks like this, it will become free from all other thoughts and eventually go back to the essence. That's what we are doing here. So here he says, अथवा हेतु अर्थ उत्तरार्धो अविज्ञातम इत्यादि. So don't take the words literally. So the word avigyatam is being given, just don't take it literally. What it is trying to indicate when those two words were taken, vijnatam and avijnatam, what it is indicating. Now what it is indicating, that those who know do not know and those who don't know know. Now you have to come to such a disposition which Mother Shruti is trying to help us to come to that disposition by explaining what does he mean, what does that student mean, or what does the teacher mean, which the student realized, that those who know don't know and those who don't know know. What does it mean? That is not given in what it means is not given in the words, because words are all contradicting each other. Avijnatam vijanatam ityavadhrutam. So avadhrutam iti avadhrutam, the conclusion is that the one who knows Brahman, those who understand Brahman, for them the Brahman is unknowable. Why? Another way I can put it, which is not given here, knowability, knowingness is only possible in the mind. And Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Brahman reality is that which cannot be
Malwarebytes agent version update available.
Which cannot be comprehended by the mind. We'll quickly finish this. Yadi brahma atyantam eva avijñatam laukikanam brahmavidam cha avisheshah praptah avijñatam vijanatam iti cha paraspara viruddham. If yadi brahma atyantam eva avijñatam, if Brahman cannot be known, then a fool and wise both are same. The wise one also doesn't know Brahman because he is abiding in Brahman, and the fool doesn't know Brahman because he is not interested only. So the question is, both of them, here his attention is, they both don't know. His attention is not on the essence. His attention is on, they both don't know. So he says both of them are same. Laukikanam brahma vidam cha avishesha praptah. So both are the same. So how can the truth be known then? Katham tu tad brahma samyak viditam bhavati iti evam arthamaha. Then if this is the situation where those who know Brahman, it is not known to them. Those who are at the sensory, mental and intellectual level, for them also it is not known because they have taken that to be the Atma. Then how will Brahman be known? Shruti Mata is putting a question for our benefit. She is putting that question. Then how is Brahman to be known? Because we are the ones who are hanging in between. Neither we are ignorant and neither we know the truth. We understand everything, but we have not applied anything in life. So what? For that, now the next verse begins. We'll see that in our next class. Pratibodha viditam matam amrutatvam hi vindate atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate amrutam. So what is the experience? What is the direct experience of the reality? That will be told in our next class. We'll look at it next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just before we go ahead, who all can come tomorrow evening for the class? I know Colin is coming, Balthazar is coming, Samidha is there, her husband is there. Anyone else? Those who are regularly coming? Anyway, maybe all of you are. Huh?
I'll be coming tomorrow.
Okay, then. So 5 people are there, then this Zoom will be on. All of you, those who are attending, they can continue attending. Just 1, 2 moments, 3 moments. Hari Om. catch you tomorrow or on Sunday morning or on next week.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om,
Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swami.